Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We've unloaded the Boxmotor truck out here at the railway, fresh out of the back of my vehicle here. And now we're going to push it into the barn and prepare to put it back underneath the Boxmotor. Good to see the kind of clearances we have here on the crossing with regards to our sprocket that I was a little concerned that might have been too big, but plenty of clearance here on the crossing. So pretty excited to get this underneath and see what happens. And here we are in the barn. Got our truck here, and you can see how I propped up the end of the Boxmotor over the winter while I had the truck assembly at home, and I'm about ready to put the jack back in here. So I just jacked between there and there, lift the car up, pull these blocks out, and the truck will go in. So that's what we're going to do right now. Alright, so we've got the pin lined up, ready to drop in. So now we'll lower the jack there, set the car down, see how it looks. And we have touchdown. What's interesting to see here is that our new heavy-duty die springs are not fully compressed. This one looks to be about halfway. This one's about maybe 3/4 of the way. I could tell if I rock the car. I don't know if you can see that, but springs are compressing. Of course, these springs here give the car its really nice ride. So we'll get the ground wire right here. This needs to be tied in, and then we've got to connect wires to the motor, get them run up into the car body, and then I'll need to clean this thing out a little bit. There's a lot of junk in this car. It tends to become a bit of a catch-all because it doesn't get run very often. So we'll get it out, get it cleaned out, and attempt a ride. We've got the truck installed with the AC motor, but on the other end we still have the original truck with the original DC motor. So we've got the that's the AC motor truck there, and this is the old DC motor truck. And I thought before I try to operate this on AC power, I would show everyone the control system in this car, because I don't remember if I had made a video about this car or not when I was doing the control systems. So just a quick look at it before. Now that I've cleaned some of the junk out of here, it was really a mess before, because as you can see, there's a lot of room in here, so I tend to use it for a storage space, so it doesn't get run very often. But basically the 240 volt overhead comes into this transformer, and inside this transformer there's a half wave bridge rectifier. So this steps from 240 to 120, and then that gets rectified. And then this is the speed control. Over here, this very beefy resistor bank, and basically it's just tapped off various points of that resistor bank. Goes into the controller. This is an actual trolley controller, and then this is the reverser right here, this knife switch. The car originally did not have air brakes. I added those when I revamped the first power truck about 25 years ago. So I added this air brake control. There are no gauges, no instrumentation in this car whatsoever. We'll take a quick look down here because there's a hole cut in the floor, so you can look at the motor. So I don't know if you can see, but that's the motor right there. And then it goes into this differential, which one end of it is welded, and then there's a sprocket on the other end. We'll turn around here so we can get a better look in there. All right, now baby, you can see the differential there, and then that goes to the axle, and then the two axles are chained together. So there goes the air compressor. Shut that off. So yeah, that's how the car is configured right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick little ride in this. I'm going to measure some currents because I don't really have any currents documented for this motor, and just for my own curiosity I'm going to document that. One thing I forgot to mention, this car has interior lighting. Fancy, huh? So I'll document that, and then we'll throw the VFD in here and try to take a ride on AC power. But just wanted to show everyone how this car is configured, has been configured probably since it was built in 1967. Got the traction motor wires connected, run up along the bottom of the frame. That's the yellow cable that you see there. And then I'll show you what we've done in here. It's a bit crude right now because we're in test mode, but we've got the VFD set up right here. It's powered up. We got 237 volts it's showing, and then I've got a potentiometer right here for the speed control, and then this is a directional control. Of course, this is all temporary. If this works out the way that I hope that it will, then our directional control will go actually in the controller like it's supposed to be, and then the speeds will be selected by the multi-points on the control. So I'll have to build an interface board to interface to the VFD to give me my, point speed control. So I've kind of disconnected the transformer right now. I have removed the chain off of the old drive system. That thing, because it's a gear drive, it provides an awful lot of resistance to this car moving. So I unhooked that, and now I can push this car with just one hand, which is a huge difference from what it was before. So I think we're ready to take a ride. Okay, first time ever in the history of the RRVT, we are attempting AC traction using a VFD. Here, will it work? Here we go. I have no idea which direction is what, so. Fan is on. We have a meter here monitoring our line current. The VFD has a motor current monitor built in. So here we go. Ding, ding. Oh, ding. It backs up. That's a good sign. Let's go the other way. Ding, ding. Ha ha. It moves. We are drawing 1.6 amps off of the line right now. This is incredible. Stock car motor is running about 7 amps, 14 on the duty cycle. Alright, I'm we've got to stop here and throw the pole over. So we're kind of going the wrong way. As you recall, we've got a tree in the way at the top of the hill, or I should say out at the west loop. So I'm going to have to run this car just forward and back kind of the same way until I get rid of the pesky tree. All right, pole is thrown. Time to continue. We're headed for the hill. I had no concerns about this moving the car on flat track. It's all about the hill. Can we do it? Wind it up a little bit and see what happens here. This is definitely faster than the car used to run. We're only, oh, you probably can't see it, but we're at 50 hertz right now. 2.2 amps. All right, the moment of truth. Around the curve and up the hill. Go. There's our current. Steepest part of the hill. It's walking right up the hill. We have 9 motor amps, 7 amps into the VFD. Absolutely incredible. This car just goes right up the hill. Ha ha ha. I call this a success. Very happy we made it right up the hill. Well, you know how I said we really never have derailments? I had kind of a doozy here. I was so excited going up that hill and felt that thud. Probably saw it in the video. Don't see anything in the track that caused this, but yeah, we went way off here. So gonna have to get some blocks and put this back on the rail, and then we'll back up, try to figure out what happened. Very unusual spot to derail right here on the straight track. There's no broken rail. Gauge looks okay, so we'll have to figure that out. All right, I'll back up on the rail, and now we'll back up and see what might have caused this. All right, so I figured out what the problem is here. There's a rail joint right there, and we're kind of on a curve, and it's not the smoothest joint. And our new springs here are a little bit too heavy for this car. So this car does not weigh what I thought it did. And as we can see, our arm here is not compressed. So there was just no travel, and it climbed right up over the rail rather than holding down to it. The flange kind of caught that spot on the joint and just drove right over it. So we're gonna need to, I don't know if I can adjust. Maybe if I take a washer out here, we'll get a little less tension. I think the real solution is to buy an intermediate spring between what I had and what these are. So I kind of jumped 2 steps when I went with these. But, well, you know, this is how we learn things and improve out here. It's trial and error. Still happy about the hill performance, even if we put her on the ground. A couple weeks has passed since this last little video clip. Replaced the springs here. Recall they were the heavy red springs. I bought the intermediate ones between what we had and the red ones. Now our arm is compressed again, almost fully, but there's actually, I don't know if I can capture it in the video, there is just a tiny bit of travel there. So I think this will be optimal for the spring tension. So we're gonna take this out and take another ride, just see how it is. So I just came up the hill again with the new springs in the truck, and we did not derail. I backed up, went over it a few times, no issues. So the springs seem to have taken care of the truck derailing issue on that rail joint. So now we're going to continue on the ride as if it would have been had we not derailed. Also added some temporary instrumentation that'll get put into a panel later on. Got a voltmeter here, got a frequency gauge that shows the output duty cycle of the VFD. I got a little ammeter here monitoring line current. Those will all get put into a panel eventually, so we have kind of a dash panel. Can watch everything in real time. Just wanted to test out the meters, make sure they're all good before I go putting them in a panel. cycles there. Or slow down for the curve. Bingo. Some of you who watch this channel regularly are about to notice something has changed. Yes, look at that. Storm took the tree down. Huh. For the first time in the history of the RRVT, the Boxmotor is traversing the loop. Taking it very easy. This car has never been around this loop. If we were to derail, it would be very bad. And this front truck still has the old springs, the original springs. So we're not taking any chances. Take it nice and easy. Turntable is how we used to run this car out here before the loop. Turn it on the turntable. No more. We can now use the loop track. And there we have it. I would call this experiment with AC traction an absolute resounding success. I can't be happier with the performance that I've seen just in the few test runs that I've made here. We've now made a couple of complete loops around the line, had no issues with the VFD. The traction motor is warm, but not too hot that you can't touch it. So with two motors, obviously be less power. It'll be fine. So some mods that are coming for this. First thing is we'll be removing this truck and getting the old DC traction motor off of it and modifying it to be just like number 2 truck with the AC motor. I've already got the motor on hand for that, so we're ready to go. The interface to the VFD here obviously is going to be not this and not that. For the directional control, we will interface it into our actual trolley controller here. I've already got the interface designed for it and everything laid out. I just need to build it and test it out. This old reverser here will be going away. I'll be adding air gauge, and the meters I'm thinking are going to go in the corner right here. Kind of my tentative plan for that. This old transformer comes out. That is the new transformer for powering the lights and the air compressor. And we're going to mount the VFD and the compressor, and all the control circuits are going to go in a cabinet underneath of the car. So that way it also helped kind of dampen the sound of the fan on that inverter. The thing's really loud. Good fan. But yeah, that's what's coming in some future videos. So be sure to stay tuned for that. We're going to be seeing more action with the Boxmotor in the future, now that this thing is going to be revamped and kind of brought up to modern standards. Actually surpasses the steeple cab in technology, which is pretty cool. So be sure to stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll see you next time. Hope everyone enjoyed.